Welcome to another episode of the Let Me Be Serious podcast, where we're always going to have a great time and still have a serious moment or two. This podcast is for the multi-hyphenates, the faith-filled, and the dreamers, the creatives, the entrepreneurs, and the builders. If you are a multi-passionate person or in a season of transition, this podcast is for you. My name is Egypt Cullum, and I am the host of this podcast. Hi, how are you doing? It's nice to see you. Oh my gosh, guys, we're at another week and I am so excited. Now, let me tell you someone I was talking to somebody about some of the stuff we're going to be talking about on this podcast, and they were like, "I want to be a guest." And I was like, "That is an incredible thing. Let me think about it," because I had not figured out what a guest structure would look like for this podcast yet, because we're kind of just doing it, right? And so what would a guest episode look like? I'd want to have a guest that feeds you all. I don't want it to feel like you all are witnessing a coaching call or a mentor session. Like, I want them to be requesting my input, but also providing their own. I want it to be aligned with what we have here. Okay. And maybe in a few months, we'll see about it. Okay. I'll say that I am particular just because of the kind of space we are curating here. But I will say I'm considering it because I think it'd be so cool. I know it'd be so cool. But I would like the podcast to, grow up a little bit. Okay. I want it to be a few months old before we jump to that. So when I, as I say, jump, right? Well, let's get into the 3 to 4 things God taught me this week. This week, I'm only doing 3. I know the past few weeks I've been doing like 4, but we're sticking with 3, okay? There is a time to do and a time to critique what you do. Okay, that's the first one. There is a time to do and a time to critique what you do. Usually they're not at the same time. Okay. So the reason I, am going through the process of learning this and God taught me this week is because I am in the process of creating things that I know are not at the quality I want them to be. But God has told me to create the thing. So therefore, if I'm going to wait until it's the way I want it to look, it's going to halt me. So there is a time to do. So I'm in the process of doing, okay? And as I'm doing, I'm learning the things that I might want to change the next time. I can critique after I'm done, but the time to do is now. The time to critique is later. You can't critique while you're doing, because that process is going to take forever if it ever gets done. Next thing on this list, dream bigger than you expect. This has been a very fun one, actually. I hosted an award show where there was like a red carpet, and I did the changing of the outfits, and I read the teleprompter the whole night. It was so fun in my dream, and it was amazing, and I did amazing, and I was just so comfortable. So God was like, you could do that, basically. Like, hey, guess what? This is something you could do. I don't know. I had never thought about that before until I had that dream. And so, yeah, dream bigger than you expect. Next thing on this list, stop being scared to share the products of your gift. Ooh, that one hits really deep for me. As I just said that, I'm going to say it again. Stop being scared to share the products of your gift. If you have a gift that, pushes you to create something, stop being scared of sharing that something. And when I say share, I'm not trying to say monetize. I'm not saying just post on social media to have content so people can view, so you can get likes and all that other stuff, right? No. Just don't be scared to share what God has put within you. If you have a gift, for me, this registers with my singing. God has been wanting me to sing. If y'all don't know, I minored in music and I've concentrated in vocal performance. But I've been singing since I was little. God has been putting that on my heart to do since then. I haven't been singing after college, and I've been missing it so much. And so I am about to start finding avenues to start doing it again. Now, do I want to do it professionally? I'm not going to say yes or no, but I'm not saying yes. Okay? I'm not saying yes. Give me 1 second. My mic is dying. Oh my gosh. Okay, and we're back because I have two mics. Hallelujah. But yeah, so that has been on my heart. So he's like, stop being scared to do this when I put this in you already. So we're going to kind of combine two of these points, but really we're sticking with the second one that we went over today. The main topic of today's podcast is dream bigger than you expect. This past Tuesday, I attended a round table. And if you were at the round table, then you know when I'm recording this, hey, chill out, okay? But so um this past Tuesday, I was at a round table dinner. It was amazing. And I had a really good conversation with a photographer I met there. If you're listening to this, hi. But he has this big dream, and I'm not going to share his big dream here because that's his big dream and it's his responsibility to share his big dream. And he's working on it, and I'm really really proud of him. And I just met him once, but I'm excited for him as well. And he then ended the statement after he told me what he wanted to do, because I asked him, what is your big goal? Like, what's your end goal? Basically, I can't remember the exact question, but basically that question. And he, at the end of his statement, he said, I know it sounds big. He said, I know it sounds big. And I told him that it's because it is big, but it's supposed to be. It's as big or small as you make it. And I continued, and I didn't really say this particular thing to him in this way, but I do truly believe that if your dream feels like it's the perfect size, then you're dreaming small. You're not dreaming big enough. In the conversation I was having with a different friend of mine, we were discussing prayer, and I told her that God is too big and too grand for you to limit him to what you think he can do or will do for you. And we were comparing her situation to other situations. I'm like, you are thinking of God so small to think he wouldn't do this for you. He wants to do so much for us, but we limit him, not the other way around. I met so many amazing individuals at this round table that I did not even know I would connect so deeply with. And I just, in ways, just fell in love with them and fell in love with who they are and what they're doing and their goals. It was so great. And I'm not going to get into this point particularly today, but how do I say this? I was in a room with so many sharp swords that I just felt myself being elevated, because I am guilty of doing what the photographer was doing, is saying, oh, my dream is too big. But then I was in a room with a bunch of big dreamers. And it brings me back to this point of stop being scared to share the products of your gift, because we are all at our own stages in our own journeys, and it's not meant for us to compare ourselves to others. It was not meant for me to compare myself to the other beautiful young lady who's also doing a podcast there. And I'm in love with her, and I'm excited to be a listener of her podcast. And she said, she told me, I need to have your podcast in my phone. If you're listening to this, hey, beautiful. But yeah, and I was like, I caught myself, but I did start off with, girl, I'm just on there rambling. I'm just talking. And she just looked at me. I was like, girl, I'm not just talking. I'm not. But, and then because that was me trying to shrink myself, and we would just had then we moved into a full conversation about our podcast topics and why we're drawn to speak about different things and who we're trying to talk to. And it's just a reminder, I didn't announce myself as, hey, I have this podcast launching this Saturday. I didn't say that because it was something, you guys are something that is really close to my heart. This podcast is like my baby. And so I say that to say we're all meant to stand in our own. We're meant to stand out. We're not meant to blend in. And even if it's not quote unquote perfect or quote unquote the quality that we envision, at a certain point you have to accept that you are being disobedient because God told you to do that for a reason. Not when you are ready, but he just told you to do it. Everything he needs you to be is already in you. Period. Everything he needs you to be is already in you. I'm not saying don't go learn and educate yourself to be better at the thing you want to do, but I'm saying don't delay yourself because you're waiting for the right timing or the right circumstances or the right equipment. Dude, y'all see how this looks? And it's, if anything, it's growing. It's going to grow. I'm going to grow with it. And that's the whole point of it. God will provide that in due time. In this moment, he might just need you to freaking move and do what he asked you to do. I'm going to say that again. He might just need you to move and do what he asked you to do. He didn't ask you to make it perfect. Don't, and for me, don't shoot the messenger. He just told me, because he told me the same thing. He told me the same thing. And that's why I'm here talking to you. And that's why you're here. Like, if you're listening to me, you're here for that same reason because there's something in you that God is ready to move, honey. He's ready. So let's move. That's it. Let's move. All right, it's time for questions from the besties. Questions from the besties. Today's question is from one of my best friends. I've known her my whole life. It's from my big cousin Tiara. Shout out to you. Hi T. Thank you for your very long list of questions. She was the only person who I asked for 5 and she sent me 10 questions. And I am very grateful for that. Now, was it a lot? Yeah, because as when I read this one today, this one is the least deep of them all, y'all. She sent me some really deep questions, and I love that. And thank you, Tiara, for that. So today's question is: if your life were a movie, what would the title be? What would be the title? If your life was a movie, what would be the title? This is hard but easy. Like, this is a hard but easy question. Why? Is because I have a book title, right? Like, I have the idea. I know what I want to tell people about me. I've always wanted to write those books that I just, I just always wanted to write a book about my life and situations, and I'll do that at some point around probably closer to 30 or something. But that's fine. But a movie, what runs through my head like what runs through my head is, you can see me. Like, I don't know what movie that's from, but it's like that saying is like, you can see me. Like, I'm this invisible, I thought I was this invisible person in a room, and no, you can see me. I'm not used to being seen. I'm used to being perceived but not seen. um people People's perceptions of me are not always accurate or how I see myself, which is why I'm the type of person, I'm gonna ask you how you perceive me or what you think about me. And if you're closer to me, I've probably already asked you that type of question anyway. But to make a movie of how I perceive myself in my life, see, what is funny is I don't perceive myself. That's the thing. I don't think about myself until I see someone else outside of me perceiving me. So then that way I can I can assume how they're perceiving me. But me myself, I am not perceiving myself. I just I just don't do that. Like, I guess I don't know. I will literally forget what I look like. I forget what I'm wearing unless I can see a piece of my clothing or something. Um, I feel like I'm just riding around in my head watching a movie out of my eyeballs. I like that's what my normal everyday feels like. So to imagine what that looks like from the outside sounds crazy. It sounds it sounds very crazy. It's probably very boring, honestly. I don't know. It's even crazier to think of how I would describe it from the inside of my head because that's a full on party. Like the way like mentally I could picture it is let's blend Osmosis Jones with the new Inside Out movies with House Party. Like what? And I'm talking about the Black House Party movies. All right. So if you didn't know what I was talking, if you didn't know what I was talking about, but like what I do, like I have this I have my sayings, I guess. I have my sayings. People kind of know me for the things I say. I realize that I talk in a lot of interjections as well. And that's a natural thing. I talk in interjections. I don't know if it's because I'm neurodivergent or what, or those are the things I cling to from movies. I don't know. But one thing that people used to tell me a lot when I was growing up was that I was always quote unquote doing the most or quote unquote doing a lot, so that's kind of what I grew up with. Now I know I have ADHD, so it makes sense. It clocks. But um I guess if I was to pick a name, I guess I'd do some Issa Rae stuff and name it Doing the Most. Just name my movie of my life Doing the Most, because it's still that stuff that they said to me when I was younger is still relevant. Like, because to me, I just feel like I be doing stuff, but they just be feeling like I'm doing the most, I guess. It's time for a game. It's time for a game. It's time for a game. Okay. So, all right. I guess I should make theme music, huh? Anyway, I was like, thought it would be kind of cringy to make my own theme music, but at this point, I might as well do it. Anyway, so today's game is word association. So this is how we're gonna play the game. Yes, because you're playing with me. Ha ha ha. So group activity. Get yourself a notebook or get your notes app out on your phone, and we're gonna play this together because yeah, that's what we're doing. I don't have a co-host yet. I ain't got no guests. We're playing this together. So when I say a word, we're gonna get like maybe 10 5, let's do 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. You want to do 3 or 5? That's 3. I like 3. Let's do 3 because I don't want this to take forever. So when I say the word, we're going to have 3 seconds to think about what word we associate or what thing we associate with this word. And yeah. So, and then what I want y'all to do after y'all have this list, I want y'all to go to the Instagram page. And if you're curious, I know I've mentioned the Instagram page before. It's at Let Me Be Serious. Okay? So just go to at Let Me Be Serious and find the post for this podcast and comment your words or whatever you associated with which word. Okay? That's what I want you to do. That's how we're going to play. That's how I know you're paying attention and you're being active. Okay? We all got homework. Okay? Okay. So, and I did not cheat. I did like look at the words to make sure they made sense, but I did not play this game before. So this is literally off the top of my head, just like every podcast. Anyway. So first word, pivot. 3 seconds. All right. So pivot makes me think of just like change, switch it up, change. It's really just change. Um Making new decisions, operating differently, allowing yourself to be different, and like taking on that difference of how you're choosing to operate. Like you, instead of saying, "Oh, I used to do this," it's like I do this now, and you could be completely different tomorrow, and it be just as valid. Pivot. That's how I feel about it. Okay. All right. Next word. Once again, we playing this game. What did you think of? Okay. Right, you write it down. All right, cool, 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 cool. All right, next word, dopamine. 3 seconds. All right. That was about 3 seconds. Crack. Okay, drugs. Drugs. Like, I don't know if y'all seen those videos where it's like drugs. Like, it's like the answer to every question is drugs. Like, it's so funny. So for me, as a person with ADHD, yeah, my brain runs on that, and it runs on a lack of that. And so yeah, I think of drugs. Like, I don't take those. I take vitamins to help me regulate. Yes, but when I think of like my dopamine highs and like when I'm having the most creative points of my life and my workflows, dopamine is like a drug. Like literally, if you don't know what video I'm talking about, like it's a sound that gets put on so many things. Usually videos of chihuahuas. Anyway, yeah, that's what I'm referencing. I'm not talking about actual drugs. Okay, I said crack, but that's a drug in reference to the video. Anyway, all right, next word. Breakthrough. 3 seconds. Okay, 3 seconds. Wow, that is such a deep one. I just think of a spiritual breakthrough, especially the one I've been going through within this transition, really, is just allowing myself to just do it, and not even just the Nike stuff. Like, forget that. It's just allowing myself the freedom to be the version of me I want to be without allowing someone else or even myself to put excuses on me. It's not, there's nothing saying, oh, this isn't making money, it doesn't make sense. There's nothing saying, oh, this is too far, or this costs too much money, or I don't have a plan for that far ahead. Like, I don't have any of that. I have let that go. That's my spiritual breakthrough. And my business breakthrough within my spiritual breakthrough. Like, that's really what that is. And it's so beautiful. I'm so excited to be in this space. Really. So yeah, that's mine. What'd you put? What'd you put? I want to know. That's a good one. I really am curious about that one. Y'all definitely comment what y'all put for that one. Okay. Next word. Spiral. Ooh, 3 seconds. All right, that's about 3 seconds. All right. Dang, spiral. It makes me think of like emotional damage, like that level. Like, oh, I am breaking down. But I think you can break up to like not relationship wise, but like instead of breaking down, you could break up. Like I have been through like ADHD spirals where I'm just thinking of every intersectionality within a concept and within every related concept. Like I feel like that's a spiral up, honestly, because it's just like wormhole within your brain. Like, yeah. If you haven't experienced that, you probably don't have ADHD, which is great. Good for you. So emotional breakdown. That's a very easy to understand spiral. So yeah. All right. Next. Next word, obedience. 3 seconds. All right, that's about 3 seconds. Mine is just to just do it. You get an assignment, you just do it. You don't ask questions, you just figure it out. This is what I'm supposed to do. Okay, how can I make that happen? What do I need to do? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's not put anything in the way. Let's not worry about the obstacles, because the obstacles will always fall away. If there's something you need to figure out, guess what? God's going to figure it out. He's going to give you the information, and you're going to what? Go do it. All right. So that's obedience. From my perspective, I'm working on immediate obedience where God tells me something and I immediately do it. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not waiting. I'm just going to okay, and then just get it done. Okay. I don't know what it's for. I didn't think about it. I was instructed to do it. He's gonna show me what it's for later. That's where I'm at. You know, if you are a youngin and have some parental something, basically the same thing. It's just not God. But I treat God as my parent. So that's how that works. All right, we're gonna do one more because I feel like this list is getting long and I don't want y'all to be listening to me forever. Okay, we're gonna do two more. I changed my mind because I see the next word. I want to do that one too. But this next word we're gonna do hustle. 3 seconds. All right, that's about 3 seconds. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like how Cardi B saying, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Hustle is very much overdone in this generation. It's like it doesn't mean just go for it no more. It doesn't mean just, you know, don't make excuses and push through. Like now it means almost kill yourself to get to the goal. Like I don't like that. Grind culture irritates me. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have grind. That just means don't make your whole life about that. That means there are so many other things that your life needs outside of your grind. But your grind is based on you hitting a goal or making some money. Cool. What else is your life worth at this point? Because if you ain't got nothing else, if you don't hit the goal or hit the goal the way you want to, what else is there? Right. So, yeah, I don't like it. All right, this is the last word, and then we're going to move on. Okay, last word, manifestation. 3 seconds. All right, that's about 3 seconds. I really don't know if that's 3 seconds. I'm attempting to read these numbers on this screen, and I think I'm just impatient. Anyway, so what I was thinking of for manifestation is just blessings and gifts that God is putting here in this realm for you to actually see. Because every blessing He has ready for you already is just when you hit the point where you're actually ready in this realm to receive it. You got sometimes you got to go through the process. Sometimes you got to do the things. Sometimes it's just like, did you ask? Because I had it ready. You didn't say nothing. So it's really just that's really and that's literally the manifestation definition is like when something materializes, it manifests in front of you. Literally, that's what that is. So yeah, and then sometimes it's just about being open for that blessing. You know, it's such a wonderful thing. It's just a wonderful thing. So, all right. So that's the end of today's game. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to come back to it. And please, like I said, go comment what your word associations were on the post or comment on this episode. You could do either one. I can see it all. Okay. All right, so this is a new thing that I'm adding to this episode. We will interchange different segments throughout this time period of our, relationship and us building this podcast. This segment is four. Nothing has a real name other than those two. But this one is four, right? Four things God told me this week that He said it's okay for me to share with you. Okay? Because I also went through this process and this thing where God was explaining to me that I don't need to say everything out loud. Not everything was for everybody, and that is very important for me to understand, and very important for a lot of people to understand too. It's like just because you learned it doesn't mean you need to say it. You need to make sure that you actually um, have it down first. So these are things He told me that are okay for me to share. That He told me, not just taught me, but told me this week. Okay. First thing, things do not have to start off perfectly to be celebrated. Celebrate anyways. I'll say it again. Things do not have to start off perfectly to be celebrated. Celebrate anyways. I love that. I love that because at the same time we want to be in our heads about the quality of things and how we envision things to be. There's a process, right? There's always a process. We always have to go through progress, and it's very important for us to see progress sometimes too. So, yes. Next, when you find you, you build a path for others to find you as well. I'm going to repeat. When you find you, you build a path for others to find you as well. A lot of times in my past, and I know other people may feel this way too, is that people really don't know me. They don't know me. And I would get upset because they would treat me in a way, in a manner that doesn't reflect how I move and operate and how they should treat me. But at the same time, I only showed them a version of me that I thought they wanted to see. What's that called? People pleasing. So they never got to know me. They never got to really understand how I am. So they don't really understand where they had me messed up. That's my fault. That's not their fault. They thought that was okay. That's because they don't know me. And so when you get to a place where you know you, because that's also a thing too, sometimes we get uncomfortable with who we are. So we try to fit the mold of what other people want us to be because we think that is the correct version. Actually, that's far from it. You need to be who you are. Should you like work on yourself and advance and elevate and make sure you're aligned and do the self work? Yes. But that's also a part of you too. So when you do the work to really learn who you are, it really does build a path for others to find out who you are as well. Because that's who you begin to present. That's who you begin to move as. That's who you begin to speak as. And once the people that are around you and who need to find you, honestly, see you and find who you are, your whole life will change. Trust. I'm there and I've been there. Trust. That's exactly what happened. Next, the beginning is beautiful even if it's the ugliest part of the story. I'm going to say that again because it hurts but warms my heart at the same time. The beginning is beautiful even if it's the ugliest part of the story. To me, I have had to understand this over the past few years. When you first start something, you're learning how to do it for the first time. You're probably not going to be good at it the first time. If you are good at it at the first time, that's great, but that's not typical. And I know a lot of people who give up on things that they're not great at when doing it the first time. No knock to those people, but that's not really productive. Okay, you're never gonna grow that way. If you grow doing that, I don't know if you're growing in the right direction. I'm gonna say that. Okay, but the beginning is always beautiful when you think of like your favorite person and their story. The beginning was probably not pretty. It probably was rough. It was more than likely pretty rough. But because it was the beginning and it grew into something so beautiful, the beginning is still beautiful. Starting something that you know is going to grow and flourish regardless of how strong, if you're nervous about it, cool, but the beginning is still beautiful. It looks beautiful, especially at the very end, because you remember where you started and you feel warm about the progress you made and how you grew in those moments. What's the phrase? Every beautiful flower has to start in the dirt. That's true. All right, last thing for this part of the podcast is that things do not have to be quote unquote perfect. It just needs to look like you and God. That's what makes it perfect. I'm gonna say that again. I'm gonna say it at a regular speed or my speed. I'll say that. Things don't have to be perfect. It just needs to look like you and God. That's what makes it perfect. If you're too busy trying to make something look like whatever images in your head and you're leaving out showing the relationship you're building with your creator, honey, that's not really what people are going to look for. For me in this podcast, I'm very, very comfortable saying I'm doing this from a very natural place. This is how I talk normally. And I was literally on the phone with one of my best friends. Shout out to you, best friend. Saying this because this is a conversation. I am talking to you. If you don't realize, It might be a lot of you, but I am talking to you. Please talk back. This is how I talk normally. And I know this podcast will not be for everybody. That's okay. That is okay. I don't need it to be, but I need it to be for the people who need it. And so for me, it's like, I'm not worried about it being perfect because you can see me and God in this. That's what makes it perfect. So if it's something you want to do and God's telling you to do it and you're worried about how it looks, hey, only you care about that. And the people who really want to judge you and not support you in the way that you actually need care about that. Honey, no. If I see my best friend trying something and I know their intentions behind it and I know that that's something God really put on their heart to do, guess what? I'm going to support it. I'm going to give them tips. I'm going to give them advice. I'm going to give them suggestions because I want to see them grow. I'm never going to be like, this is trash. That's not me as a person, but that's not anything productive either. So therefore, why? Why would I care about somebody who don't like this? Honestly, if anybody, if anything, look, this is me being real because I hit this realization this week. That's why I'm telling you. God told me this. Not just taught me, but He told me this. At the end of the day, if someone really got something negative to say about something I'm doing, that means I'm doing it right, baby. Cause I really don't do a lot of trash things. I do some trash things. I can admit it's cool, but I don't do a lot of trash things. And so therefore I know there is a certain level of quality that goes into the things that I am doing. And so therefore that means I'm doing something right. Cause why you paying attention to me if you don't like me, honey? Like, no. That's okay. So as long as you and God can be seen in whatever you are doing. And I'm not even saying put God up front right there. Smack that on the table. Even if it's like God sitting on your shoulder, carrying you through whatever He told you to do. That's perfect. That's it. That's all we need. Thank you all for staying with me and listening to this week's podcast. I hope you enjoyed the first few episodes I dropped last week. I'm going to definitely start weaving in more entrepreneurial topics within these episodes, but I really wanted you all to kind of get to know me and my craziness before I got to show y'all my professional side because it's all a part of me, but I'm really here to not necessarily just have fun, but to really connect with you and feel free enough to communicate. And once again, I will always want you guys to communicate back with me. Don't forget to show love and rate this podcast, baby, because this is my start, restart, and revamp season. So the encouragement you give will always be seen, never go unseen nor unappreciated. Okay. If you have a question or a comment that you want answered in an upcoming episode, please don't be shy. Comment it wherever you're listening or hop over to my Instagram. What was it? At Let Me Be Serious. That's the Instagram, at Let Me Be Serious, and ask me there. Preface it with question from my bestie so I know what you're talking about because if I don't see that, I'm going to think you want me to just answer the question there. So preface it, put it before your question. Put this question from a bestie before your question, okay? This has been another episode of the Let Me Be Serious podcast where we're always going to have a great time and still have a serious moment or two. And I will see you next week. Bye!